Go.
Aimez, commentez et subscribez. Je crois, je sais pas.
I probably could have done that myself.
Yes, exactly.
Hello, my beautiful crumb dumpsters. You're tuning into In My Crumble Opinion with me, Phoebe Cakes, and this beautiful tree that we got recently. Ooh. Oh, yes. If you don't like the holidays, well, you might want to tune out because this is going to be one of the most festive episodes we're ever going to have on this show. I'm here with the inimitable, beautiful, iconic Elsa Touche.
Oh, I thought you'd point at the tree again.
Oh,
thank you.
We actually named the tree Elsa Touche. So we're Elsa Touche too. If you've never seen our podcast before, we are a Bay Area focused drag podcast where we invite drag performers from the Bay Area to just tell us about their experience being a part of our little community. So let's just jump right into it.
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks again for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
I am happy you're here too. You are literally one of my favorite performers in the Bay Area. And this morning, when I told my partner Thayer, that's on the couch over here, that you are a guest, he screamed bloody murder. My dog freaked out, jumped out the window. We had to chase him down the street, but luckily we got our dog back, but it was a close call, so I'll never tell Thayer when you're coming over again.
Okay, let me come by unannounced, all right, Thayer? Well, thank you. And like I said, I feel like I'm finally in the cool circle of drag now here with you. Like, am I a cool girl now? Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Absolutely not. This podcast does not make you cool.
Oh, shoot.
No one a part of this podcast is cool. Angel's not cool. I'm not cool. In a couple of weeks, we might have Beverly Chills, maybe our first cool person ever.
She's cool.
She's a chill one.
She's chill.
It's in the name.
Doesn't lie.
Yeah. So we've been kind of like waiting in kind of confusion and mystery and unknowing. And we feel like we're not getting it. Is your name Elsa Touche a pun of some sort? Where does your name come from?
It is a pun. It's a pun in French. It's not even a very funny pun in French. To say Elsa Touche means she touches herself. So it's a masturbation joke in French. It's not a good joke. It's in French. When I first started out, I thought my drag persona was going to be somebody completely different than she turned out to be. I thought she was going to be French and mysterious and exotic and gorgeous, and that's not who was inside of me at all. So.
No, I see bits and pieces of that. Wait, so when you started drag, did you have a French accent?
No, but the character was meant to be sort of an international woman of mystery. And also I just really liked the name Elsa. I thought that was a good name. And I'm thinking more and more and wondering how one does this to like just become Elsa, like drop the touche and just become I'm the only Elsa in the Bay Area, I think. So I could just be Elsa. Maybe I'm going to make that happen this year. I don't know. I'll try it. I want to try something like that.
A mononym.
Yeah, mononym.
People are doing that more and more.
Yeah.
Just the first name. Like heroine. I think heroine is now just Hera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that too. And like there's so many good ones. Like Snacks is... there's a lot of good ones. I think I could be Elsa, or maybe like I'm kind of old, so maybe like Auntie Elsa, Tanta Elsa, or something like that.
Auntie Elsa, but that's two names now again.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Auntie Elsa Touche.
Auntie Elsa Touche.
Auntie Touche.
I don't know. Just I'm happy to be anywhere. I don't need people to even remember my name. I don't know.
Yeah, I've already forgotten. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning.
Sure.
Where did you start? When did you start, and where did you start?
So Elsa came into being in 2015, and I had to like do some math and figure that out while I was getting ready today because I knew you'd ask. And here in San Francisco, first performance was at the Monster Show. Before that, like many years ago, in the previous century, when I was a very young man, I'd been interested in drag, but I was very shy and like really not cool. And so like a couple times I went to T-Shack like in drag to be just in the crowd and part of it. I didn't know how to get past that to like talk to someone and see about how do I participate in this fun. So I kind of like let it lie. And then many years later, I was dating someone here, Dusty Porn is her drag name, who does drag. And I mentioned to Dusty, you know, I've always wanted to do drag. I've always thought it'd be fun. I've always wanted to. And she said, always wanting to have done this is dumb because it's so easy. Just talk to this person here and they'll put you in a show. Like, it's easy. And if you suck, you may not do it again. But if you don't suck, I mean, if you suck, actually, that you probably can do it at least a few more times.
Yeah.
Until if you don't stop sucking, then they may not ask you back. I don't know. So that was it. Like, I always wanted to do it. Always thought it'd be fun. And one day I just asked and it was available to me. So that was great.
What was your first exposure to drag as a audience member?
It was probably the kind of drag that I think of as, like, you know, the drag I like that wasn't, you know, Dame Edna on TV or something like that, was definitely T-Shack and was definitely here in San Francisco. That's what I think of as, like, true artistic drag. It wasn't just something that was, you know, Jack Tripper on Three's Company wearing a dress for a sitcom bit.
I had a very similar experience. My first exposure to, like, real drag, or drag that I regard as, like, you know, having been my first exposure, was T-Shack. And for a long time, like, just patronizing it, thinking, like, I want to do this, and not really ever getting to it till, like, much, much later.
Yeah.
How did you get into your first gig?
It was, like I say, it was very much talking to Dusty. Dusty hooked me up with cookie dough, and then I was in my first show at Monster Show. And when I look back now, it's crazy. I agonized and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And it was absolutely terrible, that number. And I recently did it again for an anniversary show at Monster Show, like my very first drag number, and it's still terrible. It was a terrible concept. There was no saving it at all. But yeah, so that was it. And then so I got started, you know, getting into the Monster Show swing of things. And then doing like stuff with the Ducal Court here in San Francisco was where I was getting my legs under me as well. And it was, at that time, it was sort of like it felt good to be doing fundraisers and things like that, but also it's just a great way to practice in a low stakes environment.
Yeah. So, I want to know more about this terrible number. Why don't you describe it to us, and we'll tell you if it's salvageable.
So the song is called Ça plane pour moi. It's a song.
It sounds terrible.
It's a song. It's a punk song in French. And what I thought would make it a good song was that I would lip sing it well, and I'd be lip singing in French, and it's a very fast song.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be, you know, an impressive thing. So I'm not a great dancer, but people didn't recognize the song necessarily. So the fact that I was getting my mouth exactly right, which I was, didn't really make the number very good or very interesting.
Yeah.
And so really what it was for people in the audience, I'm picturing it now, is a poorly made up drag queen like yelling at them very loud and fast in French to a very aggressive punk beat. So yeah, it wasn't good.
Was it a competition, or it was just...
No. It was actually, no. It was actually just a night at the Monster Show. The Monster Show used to have new performer spots where you didn't necessarily have to be on theme. You could just do whatever you wanted as sort of a, you know, again, and making it easy for a new performer to come in.
Oh, that's wonderful. What, was there a theme that night? Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was just like, we hate the French or something, and then you came in with that song, and they're like, oh no.
Well, it's funny, I almost brought it back, because then a year later after that, they did Thursday, which is when the Monster Show is on Thursdays, it fell on a Bastille Day, so I was like, I could do a French song, but no, it was too fresh and bad. Really, it's a bad number. It's just a bad idea, poorly executed.
Well, you are not a bad drag queen, so I doubt it was that bad. I think you are one of the best lip syncers in the Bay Area. The way you wrap yourself around these words, and I would like to see you do it in French, because I'm sure it's impressive, Elsa.
Thank you.
Do you have drag inspirations? Like, where did you learn your kind of approach to lip syncing?
Well, I got some good advice. So, Euphoria, I don't know if you remember Euphoria. She moved
The
to
high
Portland.
school?
No,
Oh.
Euphoria, the drag queen who used to live in San Francisco, but she lives in Portland now. And she was in the ducal court for a long time, and she's my drag grandmother. And she gave me good advice early on about lip syncing, and that advice was that lip syncing doesn't just happen in your mouth, just like singing doesn't happen in your mouth. Singing happens, in your whole body from your hips up.
Yes.
And so that's, I think, one of the really good, valuable lessons I learned on was treat it like you're singing. Pay attention. I always try to figure out where the singer is breathing. And so making sure I'm breathing there too.
Yeah.
And making sure it's happening. Yeah. When you sing, things are happening in your diaphragm. There's a whole lot that's happening in your torso. It's not just your lips. And a lot of times when I see a drag performer that's not serving a convincing lip sync, it's because it's just happening in their mouth. It's not happening in their whole body.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot. I'm not going to say names, but we know who they are. No, but that's really good. My approach to lip syncing as well is do it as if you're singing.
Yeah.
But have you ever been in the presence of someone that's parcel tonguing? It is frightening.
It is
when the music's not loud enough, and
it is, and I am sometimes guilty of that. So I'm not going to shade it too much because sometimes I have been performing and moved into the crowd to get tips and moved away from the monitors. I'm oh, I'm hearing myself right now. I'm actually vocalizing. I didn't mean to be, didn't know I was. So it happens by accident sometimes. It does.
Once I was rehearsing in the car, in the back seat, just over and over again. We were but I couldn't tell. I didn't know that I was so audible because obviously I'm lip syncing. But there's a video of me doing it, and it was the most demonic thing that I've seen myself do. So, what was the drag scene like when you started? You mentioned T-Shack and Monster Show that's been maybe the longest running now.
Yeah.
In the city, I think.
We claim to be the longest running in the Castro because we think Aunt Charlie's and the Hotbox Girls have been around longer consistently. So,
gotcha. So what was the scene like when you started versus now? Do you feel like there's a difference?
I just feel like there's so many more performers now is the big difference. And especially to my mind, during the pandemic, a whole ton of them grew in their apartments and their homes where they were waiting out the pandemic. And now there are so many more. So I mean, I don't know.
Scourge.
It's a scourge on the earth. I don't know. There's just so many more. Just for example, the Monster Show. The way we book performers for the Monster Show is we'll send out themes to regular performers and people will tell us what shows they'd like to do. Before the pandemic, it was often a matter of trying to find performers to fill in slots because never enough people applied. Yeah, and now we're telling, half the people who put in each month that I'm sorry, we're booked now. Wow. So it's just that many more are looking for places to perform. And there's so many more places to perform, it seems like, post-pandemic. There's so many more. I mean, there are a lot more drag brunches. There's a lot more places to do drag shows. And still, it's not enough to keep all the babies, fed and booked and blessed.
Well, maybe some of them should starve. maybe they didn't know. How many people are on that mailing list?
I don't know. It's very long. If you do the Monster Show ever, you are on that list usually, unless you ask us, ask to be removed from it.
Has anyone been forcibly removed from the list?
Not by my doing. No.
Okay, we'll ask Otter. That's fine. We'll
Otter is the keeper of the list. Actually, Otter. It's in Otter's. Otter. I don't even know where the list is. I just know because I can see the BCC in the email.
Oh yeah. So secret information that Otter has.
Otter has a lot of secret information after all this time. You should get Otter on the show.
We've thought about it. We've talked about it. That should be a goal of ours this year. So. Who is all involved in putting together Monster Show? What's the predecessorial team like?
So it is Otter, and then there are 3 hosts that take turn. It's me and the amazing, iconic Kai B. Michaels, and the amazing, iconic Oliver Branch. And so we 4 pretty much share production, like, ideation duties as far as, like, what the themes are going to be. Booking is very much like we see who puts in and we try to keep an eye on, like, you know, who have we had to say no to last month and who has a great idea for this theme. And then each, you know, the host of that night will go in and maybe choose who they think should be in the show. But as far as like a lot of the heavy lifting stuff, it is Otter who comes in and does the lights and gets the mic set up and like brings the sound, brings the audio files in and things like that.
I've seen Otter work the lights at the Monster Show. I didn't know there were so many knobs and buttons to even fuss with, but he's kind of doing it like in a fugue state. It's kind of amazing to watch.
Rain Man at the edge.
Yeah. Well, let's go take a short break. We'll go ahead and powder our noses. That's not a euphemism. And
am I shiny?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. And then we'll talk more about the Monster Show.
Okay, sure.
Welcome back from that commercial break, if we had a commercial at all. But if you are interested in sponsoring us, let us know. Go ahead and DM Angel on social media. Or you could also just DM our social media account, which is IMCO with Phoebe Cakes.
There's an underscore.
There's an underscore somewhere in there.
IMCO_ with Phoebe Cakes. And we'll do a poll soon to come up with a better handle for that.
Yeah, handles are hard
They
because
are.
I am constantly referred to as She Has Layers or She-Ha, because people think like my name is like She-Ha Slayer. My name is Phoebe Cakes, and maybe people don't know that because I'm very bad at saying my own name, even in my own show. Okay, so when we left off, we were talking about the Monster Show.
Yeah.
So you are one of the hosts,
Yes.
one of the producers.
Yes.
How did you fall into doing it? From being at a show and scaring people with
A
French
terrible
punk.
number. Yeah.
To becoming the matron of the Monster Show.
Well, the show has, after Cookie's death, the show had multiple hosts who took turns, and Sugar Beaties was the host I replaced. Sugar Beaties was exiting because she moved to Kentucky, or she died. Those are very similar things. And so after that, Sugar Beaties and I had worked together at the Monster Show, and also we had done some of the theatrical drag parody productions that she worked on at Piano Fight, like the Hamilton parody and the Cabaret parody, which is one of my favorite things I've done. And I think that I don't necessarily think that Sugar Beaties thought I was the best drag performer, but Sugar Beaties knew and knows that I'm very well organized and I will take care of a spreadsheet and do that kind of secretarial thing that needs to be done when you're running a show.
You want to help us with this show?
So seriously, I think that is one of my skills. Like I don't know that I'm great or, at all, but like I show up on time. I'm reasonably pleasant and well organized. I think that goes a long way in this town. I really do.
Well, you're not only organized, you're also just like very quick. And I think maybe that comes with a lot of preparation, but you're like one of the funniest, quickest people on the mic.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. That's really nice of you to say. Because
Do you
I love
not feel
doing
that way?
No, I mean, I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to do false modesty. Like, I think I do okay on the mic, and I do really enjoy doing it. There are lots of different ways to be good on the mic, lots of different ways to be good at hosting. There's lots of different flavors that are all great. And yeah, I have a lane I can do.
Yeah.
That I think I'm pretty good at. Being quick is part of it, and doing improv is part of it, because I think the way I like to host, and it works well at the Monster Show and small venues, is to really engage the crowd and ask lots of crowd questions, do a little bit of insult comedy, a little bit of flirtation, and make it fun that way. But that's not the only way to make it good.
How did you learn those skills? Crowd work or improv?
So when I was in high school and then even into college, until I was sort of discouraged from it, I was involved in theater. Like in high school, I was in...
Gateway drug to drag.
It was. In high school, it's so cringy, but I was part of this like improv theater high school troupe, and we would go around to like junior highs and elementary schools and do like Just Say No to Drug skits. And then we'd go do acid in the woods after school. But it was very cringy. We were called the Harlequins, and we wore green tights.
Where is
another
this
great
happening?
That's happening in Reno, Nevada at Hug. I know. I'm sorry. Hug High School, the Hug High Harlequins. We had a song called "The Hug High Harlequins Are We." It was bad.
How do you spell hug?
H-U-G? H-U-G, just like it sounds. Yeah.
Hug High School?
Hug High School, yeah. That's where I went to freshman and most of my sophomore year.
Wow, I didn't know people grew up in Reno.
They do? They sort of. Like, I don't recommend raising a family there if anyone's thinking about it, although it's gotten a lot better.
Do you feel this isn't part of the card. Fuck the card. No, do you feel like growing up in Reno you were exposed to more than the average like high schooler, or exposed to less than the average high schooler?
I don't know. Let's see. I was, very, it's hard to say. My high school experience was unique because I was not very well liked. I was kind of bullied. I did have some like friends, other outcasty friends, but like, I don't know. I don't know if it was probably just like anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, except, a lot of people's moms worked in casinos instead of, in MLMs. I don't know. That's
true. At least one of our mothers have worked for an MLM. Actually, if you're a part of an MLM and want to be sponsored on In My Humble Opinion, we will do the nutraceuticals. We'll sell your knives. What are other popular MLMs? Confederated Goods. I don't know.
Yes. Oh, the oils. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Healing oils. Peppermint oil. It really helps with anxiety. We need some of that. We actually need some spruce oil for this tree.
I smell it. It smells good.
Must be my COVID. Okay, so Monster also has a pageant.
Right.
How is putting that pageant on?
It's, again, that's, so like I say, the host of the show take turns, but there are a couple of nights a year where we all three show up, and so the pageant is one of them, so it's kind of all hands on deck. Mm-hmm. And really it's the contestants who make the show. It's actually one of the easier hosting nights because it's shared, and also because the audience isn't there for a lot of, jibber jabber from me. They're there to see their contestants. They most of the crowd is people who are supporting one of the contestants. So it's easy and it's fun to put on. I love the pageant. This year, like, we have a lovely winner, Carlota Di Carlo. She's fabulous. All the contestants were great, but she took the crown. Yeah.
The format of the way the pageants run. Conventional? Is it traditional? Has it changed over the years?
It hasn't changed in my time since I've done it. It's still the same. And it's just, you come out and do a number. The theme is very open. It's either just do a number that represents you as a performer, or another option is to do a number about pageants themselves. And then contestants come out in a second look. Again, something that maybe either represents them as a performer or just that they think is super sexy or cool or scary or whatever. And they ask a random question pulled out of a hat that makes up a small portion of their score as well. And the hosts have nothing to do with the scoring. We have guest judges. This year it was Cochina Rude was a judge, BB Sweetbriar. Who else? We have 4 judges, and I can't remember who they were. They come and go.
Yeah,
these guest judges.
Sometimes they move to Kentucky.
Sometimes they move to Kentucky. Yes. No, Sugar Beaties is still very much with us.
Have you ever been to Kentucky?
I have. Yeah.
I have too.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't choose it.
It's cold, and there's a Cracker Barrel, and that's it.
You should see.
I actually went in the winter, which was a bad idea.
You should see. I mean, I've only seen pictures, but Sugar Beaties and her partner Peter have a beautiful, gorgeous, like lovely, gigantic home that a Bay Area person could only dream of. So I see the appeal.
It's true. I recently watched a YouTube video of this YouTuber that I like. She's like basically has like influencer money, but she bought a mansion in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
It's like 6,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I'm bad with numbers.
Yeah.
I know that. There's like 100. Okay, yeah. I was just like, oh, maybe we should move to Kentucky or Ohio.
I do that. I go on real estate sites and just pick a smaller city. Like, what about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And they're like, oh my God, I could live like a king in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But you're in Pittsburgh, which I don't know. No offense if anyone from Pittsburgh is watching.
Yeah. I'd rather live here.
I
like as a peasant, you know, than a king in Pittsburgh. you kings in Pittsburgh, sound off in the comments. Let us know how you're living. I feel like when I started drag, there wasn't that many pageants.
Oh,
like
gosh.
there was like Butch Queen, but there was still kind of a younger pageant, and Monster Pageant has been going on for a while. But like now I just feel there's so many pageants.
There are a lot of pageants.
Do you like the competitive drag scene?
Well, I have many and multi-layered thoughts on that. So, like, I think sort of something that's happened to drag through the RuPaulization of drag and what audiences expect from drag is that drag is always a competition. Yeah. And like I often hear after a show, someone will come up to me as the host and let me know who they thought was the best. I'm like, this was just a show.
Wait, people do that?
Yes.
They just come up to you and tell you like, that person was the best.
It happens more than I don't like it, and it happens enough that it annoys me. Or someone will come up to me like, I mean, every now and again say, you were the best one. And I'm like, but it wasn't a competition, and there's a lot of subjectivity.
So you were the best
art.
One.
Yes, I'm sure. I know I was.
And you love spreadsheets, so you should log all these scores.
I do, but so like, I don't love that drag is often perceived as a competition in every instance.
Yeah.
And I think that turning like all of the, having a lot of pageants makes it that way. I don't know. On the other hand, I think having a pageant it's a good exercise if you use it as an opportunity to like be in competition with yourself and be the best that you can be. And that's how I've tried to do the competitions I've been in is like, I can't try to like, back in the time when I was doing lots of pageants, my main competition was always Florida Man. I'm like, I can't try to out Florida Man. I can be the best Elsa I can be and lose to Florida Man consistently. But I just can't I can't put myself in competition with someone like that.
You did Princess recently.
I did. It was a fun night. I did Dolly Parton night. That was a very fun show, actually.
What Dolly song did you do?
So we were encouraged to do some songs off the new album, and I did We Are the Champions, Dolly's cover, and it was a cute concept. I think it came out well where I sang as like sort of a Joan of Arc-esque sort of warrior.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I had an army of King Freddie Mercury's behind me. It looked really cute. And I love Dolly Parton, and I love that song, and I love Queen, and like everybody involved I love, but it was a miss, Dolly. I'm sorry. It was not. I'm listening to that song was starting to drive me nuts. I'm like, it's not good. It's not good. It's a rare miss. A rare miss.
I feel like I'm not familiar with that version, and probably for good reason.
Yeah, skip it.
Yeah. Is there a favorite person you do like to perform?
Gosh, I love to perform Liza Minnelli. I love to perform a lot of Sandra Bernhardt from her concert movie, Without You I'm Nothing. Those are two that I really, really like that are just coming right at the top of my head. Yeah.
Were those people you performed early on in your drag career and then like continued to perform, or they kind of came on later?
Sandra Bernhardt came on pretty early because I love her, and I love her early 80s into early 90s movies that she made from her one-woman shows. So I love those, and those came in pretty early. Liza came in later because, again, like I say, when I first started out, I wasn't the persona that I thought I was, which I think happens sometimes for drag performers. Like they think they're this thing, but then actually the persona that comes out is something different, which is good, right?
That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Elsa was here all along. I just had to open the door for her.
How would you describe Elsa now? Not a sexy, mysterious French woman.
Masturbating.
Masturbating.
Well, masturbation and removing the stigma from talking about it is one of my social causes. It's one of my platforms. Mm. So that is still there. I don't know. Like Elsa, I think of Elsa as, sort of, I think of her as sort of a middle-aged, which is a very far stretch because in real life I'm quite young. Middle-aged, like, on the downside of her career. So in some storied past, she's had more success, but she's still trying to make the best of it, and she's game, and she has very little taste, and she likes red wine, and she's sort of pretentious, thinks she's French.
We just watched the first episode last night of The Comeback by
Oh,
Elsa
yes,
Touche,
yes.
which that, like, it's so fresh in my mind, so that really kind of flared that.
That is a great reference, and I love that. Can you picture the movie, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, the Liz Taylor version? Sandy Dennis as Honey, the friend, the guest who comes to dinner, is one of my inspirations. Like I'm always channeling Sandy Dennis in that movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but we do have like a ongoing like movie list, so add that to our list. We need to watch that.
Oh, oh my gosh, and also Sandy Dennis and the Out of Towners. Those two. For a glimpse into who I'm thinking of sometimes when I'm in drag.
That was going to be a later question, so I guess we'll have
you can ask it. I'll come up with I'll come up with better answers maybe the second time around.
So the last time I saw you host, honestly, one of the surprise like highlights of the weekend, I went on a weekend retreat with the drag group Philippines that I'm a part of, and we decided to go to the drag show at R3, and we're like, is this the vibe in Guerneville? Is this what we want to do right now? You know, go to a drag show. We were like, this is our weekend away from drag. but once the show started and you got on that mic, we were all like, we're in. Elsa is on fire. You're so funny. How did you end up having a show in Guerneville?
Well, so a couple of things. It was so wonderful having you in the audience. You were giving all of the performers so much life. We were so glad you came. It was kind of a dead night. It was cold. So thank you so much for coming to our show. The Triple R. So I've been doing some drag parody theatrical things through Fraudway and some of my own and some through drag, different organizations. The Harriet Poofter series that we've done the first two of was, I think, how I came to the attention of the folks at the Triple R. And not last summer, but the summer before, they were coming out of the pandemic and were starting to book drag shows again. And they just reached out to me and asked if I could take some of the weekends that were free that they thought they might be able to get a party going. And again, and I don't like to sing my praises as being a great drag performer or whatever, but I'm organized, I show up, I'm on time, I got a spreadsheet, and I think that's why they keep having me back. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm low drama.
Yeah, how is it hosting over there? How's the crowd, the show, the vibe?
I love it. It really depends on the weekend. Like some weekends are very different from others, and you just kind of have to, whether it's some weekends the crowd is very like, oh, locals have come to see the show, people who live in the area. Sometimes it's very much, oh, there's an event in town, or like it's women's weekend or something, and so the crowd is, people who are visiting from out of town for the show, so that makes it slightly different. But I love it. People are usually at the Triple R when they come to the show on Saturday night. The show is at 8. They're already pretty much totally hammered, blotto drunk.
Yeah.
So because they've been drinking by the pool all day. So that makes it easy on one hand because they're not really focusing. Their expectations are not that high. But also it makes it harder because it's harder to get their attention. Yeah.
How do you get performers to go all the way to Guerneville if they're not already in Guerneville?
The Triple R has a very nice, they put us up. They give us a room. They give us a room for overnight. So I think that is the draw. And typically we do a Saturday night show and then a Sunday brunch show, and they put us up over Saturday night. It's kind of not a great gig if you're the drag performer because it's a lot of drag. But if you are a drag performer's partner or pal, you get like a free weekend at the resort. So that's nice. So that's how I sell it. Like, do you have a partner? Would they want to come and have a nice weekend?
Do you do it over the winter?
No, it's not coming back. They don't do the parties like that until Memorial Day is their first one.
I feel like that makes you Guerneville's Dina Martina.
Wow, that's high praise. I was making jokes about myself at the last event I did up there this year about being the toast of Guerneville, but I think that's probably just a joke.
No, I feel like that's true. Before
I love it up there.
There's a drag queen there that I don't know if they're still around, but they used to do the 4th of July and perform on the roof of the R3. You say Triple R, I say R3. That's a song. You say triple R, I say R3.
I think they're both correct. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Do you know who that queen is? Are they still around?
Patty McGroin.
Patty
McGroin is their name.
Okay.
Yeah, Patty McGroin is I actually don't know because Patty McGroin did do a couple of their shows, and I know Patty is like has dibs on a couple of the holiday weekends or had. I don't know Patty very well. But yeah,
I was just trying to figure out if you're the toast.
No.
Like,
Patty might still be the toast.
You're the
That's
toast.
why I was
you're
kidding.
The toast.
I was up there, and for Guerneville Pride, they had me on stage introducing Bruce Valanche, kind of a queer celebrity, and I was making jokes about being, Bruce Valanche's peer celebrity-wise, which is not true and not even that funny. I don't know why I retold that.
No, it is funny. You're funny. You mentioned the Harry Potter parody.
Yes.
And you've done other parodies.
Yes.
You have a background in theater.
Right.
But how did you get into doing parodies? What's your writing process like?
Well, so it really, really varies depending. So with the Harriet Poofter ones, it was very much a team effort. I worked very closely with Intensive Claire on writing them, and Otter helped. And also, I love working on these shows. I love working with drag performers because drag performers, actors as well, but drag performers especially, they come in and they bring so much of their own zhuzh to it.
Yeah.
What we put on the page for the drag performers is very different from what happens on the stage when we finally actually have the show. So it's really a group effort. The writing process has been. So how I got involved in it was, again, thank you, Sugar Beaties. And I know Sugar Beaties is not dead. Sugar Beaties is in Kentucky. Thank you, Sugar Beaties, because Sugar Beaties cast me in my first one based on this my strength as a performer at the Monster Show in those early years, which was a Holly Dolly Christmas parody. It was like a jukebox musical to celebrating the Christmas with at the end of it, Sanjeev, Sanjeev, gorgeous Sanjeev. Oh. I love Sanjeev.
That's what we call them, gorgeous Sanjeev.
Obsessed with Sanjeev, and Sanjeev was in it, and Sanjeev came out as a Jesus Christ figure. It was on the cross, but we decorated Sanjeev like a Christmas tree. It was a blasphemous, terrible production, but that was my first one, and that gave me my taste for, this could be fun to do these myself.
It was called Holly Dolly Christmas?
The Holly Dolly Christmas Spectacular. It was all Dolly songs. It starred Coco Butter as Santa Claus. This cast is incredible. Coco Butter as Santa Claus. Vanilla Meringue as Mrs. Claus. It was me and Sanjeev and Cash Monet as elves and doing ensemble stuff. It was a great cast. I don't think it was that good in the end, through no fault of anybody involved. But I do remember people leaving during the show.
I just want to say that that's like the gayest shade. It's just like they were ensemble.
No, I was ensemble. I was ensemble with them. Me and Cash Monet and Sanjeev and Talon Marks, who's also moved to Chicago a long time ago. But we four were the ensemble. And I love being ensemble. Yeah. It's fun.
Was it at Oasis?
It was at Piano Fight. That was at Piano Fight. And through that, I got involved in doing some of the other ones there at Piano Fight. And then through the Hamilton parody that Kai Kai B. Michael stars in, I've had a few different roles in that. And then those experiences encouraged me to want to write my own. And a lot of times I feel like I write these things because nobody else is putting me in their shows. So I want to be in these shows, so I'll do it myself.
Who's not putting you in shows?
Nobody except for me. I put myself in my own shows.
Who's not putting us in shows? Okay, well, that's one way to do it. Yeah,
but it's a lot of work, as you know from putting on a podcast. Like, it's a lot of work, and so I am willing to do the spreadsheets and the organizing and all that stuff, and it's fun for me.
Are you your own stage manager?
No, I couldn't possibly be. So we usually have a stage manager. So right now we're working, I should plug this. Right now we're working on our next drag parody show. It's a parody of the movie 9 to 5. This one was written by Jubilee, Joe Wadlington.
Yeah.
Directed by me, starring Jubilee, Vanilla Meringue, and Coco Butter. I like who I like. And it's going to be a really great show. It's
That's
going to be a lot of
exciting.
fun.
I know Joe pre-drag because they used to do Shipwreck. Are you familiar with Shipwreck?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they do like naughty retellings
Yes.
of like literary classics. Joe Wadlington / Jubilee is a freak. They are so nasty. Is it a blue script?
No, we're so no, it's not. And Jubilee did a wonderful job on the script. A great writer. We're sort of starting we're starting with the movie dialogue and sort of trying to build from there. And I'm expecting, as has been the case in the past, drag performers will add their own. Mr. Hart, the mean boss, is played by Hota Mercury. It's going to be such a good show. We're really excited. It's going to be hilarious.
Put 9 to 5 on our list.
Yeah, it starts in January.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the movie in a while, or at
in
all?
a while, yeah. No, I remember watching it in like middle school, but that's like a long time ago.
Yes, well, I'm older than you, so. But
are you?
I think so. But let's not get into a fight about it.
Let's hear our ages at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Okay, we're gonna bleep that out.
I'm over somewhere between 40 and death is my official age. But I think it's gonna be a good show, and the movie holds up so well because it was made in 1980. But it just addresses like misogyny and toxic workplace culture, and none of this shit has changed. Like it's still the same. So it works. If anything, it's all worse. So it works.
It works because things are worse. Okay, we're gonna take another break, and then when we get back, more with Elsa Touche.
Yay!
Hello, welcome back from that short commercial break. I know you love those. So while we're off screen or on ice for a little bit, we actually were talking about you're a polyglot.
I'm not.
You're
No,
not.
I'm
You
not.
speak French at least.
I speak French okay. I'm in a relationship with someone who speaks several languages, and I barely speak English and French.
Don't you hate that when they speak other languages? Like, what secrets are you keeping?
Why are you talking about me?
Yeah, why do you know so much? Okay, so why don't you help me? Why don't you say like, comment, and subscribe in French? Like, comment, and subscribe?
I don't even know how you say that. I'm sure they have a catchy saying for saying that.
So like is like...
something pleases you. I don't know how you say it.
Okay.
J'aime. Aimer.
There you go.
Aimer, commenter, et subscriber. Je crois, je ne sais pas.
I probably could have done that myself.
Yes, exactly.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. I've also, please do that. Let's get some traction. I want some people to watch this show. I want more people to get to know Elsa. So please like, comment, and subscribe. We're available to listen to on all formats in theory. But YouTube is the best place to kind of like get our content. So share our stuff here.
And it looks better on YouTube.
It looks better on YouTube, usually. Just kidding. Yes.
It's actually available on Spotify. It also has video. So you can watch us on Spotify as well.
That's wild to me that Spotify has video. I feel like that's too much.
It's the future.
It's the future. Everything's going to have video because we're going to have self-driving cars. Sometimes, don't tell anybody, I do put on YouTube videos while I'm in the car. But like to listen to. But like the video is also going at the same time. And I feel like it's naughty. The consensus in the room is yes, it
That's
is.
bad.
Please don't do that.
I mean, I put on YouTube videos sometimes like putting on my face and look what happens. So I think it's dangerous to drive a car that way.
Yeah, it is dangerous to drive a car that way. But I like that. I like this. I like the content on YouTube. You know, I could learn about, ancient civilizations or something. I can't do that on Spotify. I guess I can. If you have ancient civilization Spotify recommendations, let me know. Okay, so before the break, we talked about quite a few movies actually throughout our conversation. One of my questions for you was, what would be 3 movies that you would say characterize your drag persona?
Well, as I mentioned, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf earlier on, because I think Martha and Honey sort of characterize 2 different sides of Elsa. My favorite movie and musical of all time is Cabaret. I love the movie version of Cabaret, and I watch it a few times a year. And I think that sort of there's elements of Elsa in that sort of deluded character who wants to be a star but isn't as talented as she thinks she is. That is Sally Bowles. I like that a lot. And then, I don't know, Shirley MacLaine in Steel Magnolias and/or Terms of Endearment. I don't know. Old ladies.
Yeah. That's one of those like gay questions. Like, who are you in Steel Magnolias? So you're Shirley MacLaine's character?
I would probably say I'm Shirley. I feel more like Shirley MacLaine or maybe Olympia Dukakis. I can't think of it. Maybe I'm Annelle. You know, God damn it. Maybe I'm Annelle.
No. Put Steel Magnolias on our movie list. This is kind of an embarrassing admission, but we've been going through some of the seasons of Friends recently since Matthew Perry's passing.
Oh, huh.
Did you watch Friends growing up?
Didn't watch Friends. So when I was in high school, and a lot of times we weren't allowed to watch TV, or we were allowed an hour a night, and if me and my sisters fought about it, it would be taken away, and we always fought about it. So I didn't watch TV in high school. And then I became in my 20s and moved to San Francisco, and I was just busy doing drugs and being a hoe, so I didn't watch a lot of TV. So I missed a lot of those 90s sitcoms.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, like, who would you say you were? I would say that you're probably a Phoebe.
I'll take that. I love Lisa Kudrow.
No, actually, no. You're Monica.
Really?
Yeah, spreadsheets.
Yeah, maybe I am Monica. I know enough about Friends culture. I could say that I'm not at least I'm not, because I'm often in the ensemble. At least I'm not, the guy who works at the coffee shop or whatever. Yes, yeah. Gunther is his name.
Yeah, no one wants to be Gunther.
I did but I love it. I did a drunk drag Broadway show of Annie, and I played Lily St. Regis, which is a very small role. It's the girlfriend of Rooster, the guy who's trying to, Mrs. Hannigan's brother. It's a very small part, but I loved it. I loved being Lily St. Regis.
Oh. What's your favorite number to perform?
My go-to that I don't perform anymore because I think I performed it to death, but I love it. It's Sandra Bernhardt's cover of Me and Mrs. Jones. I love it because it is rare lesbian content in a drag show, and it's just funny, and there's lots of fast patter in it that's funny, and I like it.
Yeah. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Gosh, the schmaltzy one I like is I'll Be Home for Christmas, and the more upbeat one is We Need a Little Christmas from Auntie Mame. I love that song.
Oh yeah. So go ahead. You're going to say something?
Phoebe, I want to know your answer to that last one.
My favorite Christmas song?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
I love that.
Because it's so melancholic. It's sad. Like the original Mimi St. Louis lyrics are like the saddest thing. And Julie Garland's voice is just like so haunting. And so I like that song. But I also like Oh Holy Night. I love like a power ballad. That's like Oh Holy Night. Someone already tweeted it, but I'm gonna repeat it here. Like Oh Holy Night is defying gravity for Christmas. It is that song.
And it's so queer friendly because it's got that lyric that's fall on your knees. We love that.
Yeah,
we love that in a Christmas
song. We do love
song.
that in a Christmas song. And it has Oh Hole. Like yes. Like it has all the things. He is king, he is Lord. We've all said that. You sing?
I vocalize.
You vocalize?
I vocalize, yes.
Have you ever sung like a song for a drag performance?
Oh yes, I've done quite a lot. I've done a few shows at, as a guest of someone else, like at Martuni's. I've done a couple of live singing nights at Oasis for different things. What's your favorite song to sing live? My favorite song is a Sondheim song called I Never Do Anything Twice.
What's that from?
It's not from a Sondheim play. He wrote it for a movie that the name of it is escaping for me now. But it's often in Side by Side by Sondheim. They put it in that.
Okay, yeah.
I like that one. And I like to sing Is That All There Is by the Peggy Lee song.
That's good too.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And then we're going to have to bid adieu to our audience for the evening. If you liked what you saw today, again, like, comment, subscribe. After this question, Elsa's going to help me read off our patrons.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to be one of our patrons as well, you can consider that. Okay. What is a piece of advice that you would give to anyone that wants to start drag? Even though there's too many people starting drag. There's too many drag performers. But let's say there's a new one that wants to onboard. What would be your advice to them?
I would say, I guess my advice is, it's one piece of advice, two sides of the same coin. You will probably suck at first. And that should, number one, it should not discourage you. You should keep trying. Everyone sucks at first, except for a few people who just came out of the gate fabulous. That happens too. You'll suck at first, and so don't let that discourage you. But also, don't let your friends gas you up too much, because your friends will tell you you're fabulous, fierce, snap, 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 and you'll think you don't have any room to improve. You do. And so you'll suck at first, embrace it, be okay with it, use it to get better, and ask for advice and take advice from people.
Oh, that's great. Ask for advice, take advice. Why don't you take anybody's advice?
I don't know. I do. I've taken so much advice. If you have advice, please DM me. Like, I would love some more advice.
Where can we see you next?
So I am at the Monster Show happens every Thursday, and I'm there, every third Thursday or so. I'm also co-hosting a new show every Tuesday night at Moby Dick called Hooked. Also a rotating cast of hosts. That is me, Coco Butter, and Jubilee. So you can catch me those places. Got some holiday shows coming up. Follow me on Instagram. Are you doing it tonight? No, not tonight. And 9 to 5 live is coming to Oasis January 11th, and then running for 4 weekends. This is me asking you out. Do you want to go see Dina Martina with me when she's here? I love Dina Martina. If I can, I would love to. I love Dina Martina. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would love to go with you. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Okay, so if you want to hang out with us and get Dina Martina tickets with us, let us know. DM us. Okay, Elsa, this is your card. This is my card. Okay. We're going to shout out our patrons. I have Anita Bump. Ali Scott. Clark Alexander. Chris Hendricks. Freddie Seipold. Diana. I'm never sure how to say that. I just see it in print all the time. Diana is, that would be the German way. Yes. Yeah. And Reina Terror. And my friend and yours, the amazing, the inimitable, the legendary Kai B. Michaels. Yay! Thank you for doing this with me. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. I'm gonna knock the tree over. Yeah, no, sorry. You look festive. This is very Christmassy. Thank you. I feel Christmassy. Thank you. Thank you. Just in time. Okay, you want to get in here? All right, come here. Up, Iggy, come here.
I don't know if he actually wants. Okay, he does.
You are so cute.
You know he's gonna look so scared.
Call it as a tip.
Icky, focus. Icky,
good boy.
Icky,
good boy.
It's like a demented body card photo.